48 inch by 22 inch panel out of 2x6s. How many do I need? And what width should I rip each one to so they are even?
To make a 48-in x 22-inch panel using 2x6 lumber, you should use 5 boards running lengthwise. While a standard 2x6 is nominally 6 inches wide, its actual width is 5.5 inches. If you used 4 boards at their full width, 4 times 5.5 inches equals 22, you would be unable to rip off the rounded, eased edges found on construction lumber, which makes for a poor glue joint and an uneven surface. Using 5 boards allows you to trim those edges for a professional seamless finish. The math: total panel width, 22 inches. Number of boards, 5. Rip width per board, 22/5 equals math BF 4.4 inches. Length of each board, 48 inches. Lumber needed. To get 5 pieces.
Remember, please only give me dimensions in 16ths of an inch.
To keep your measurements precise for your table saw setup, you should rip each of your 5 boards to a width of 4 3/8 inches, which is 4 6/16. While the exact decimal math is 4.4 inches, 4.4 is roughly 4 13/32 inches. Using 4 3/8 inches is a standard shop measurement that ensures all 5 boards are identical and leaves you with a total panel width of 21 7/8 inches. If you absolutely must hit exactly 22 inches, you would need to rip them to 4 13/32 inches, but 4 3/8 is much easier to read on a standard tape measure or fence scale. The breakdown: number of boards, 5. Rip width per board, 4 6/16 inches. Simplified to 4 3/8. Total width, 21 14/16 inches. Just shy of 22. Cutting list. Piece. Quantity, length. Width. Individual slats, 5. 48 inches.
How's it
4
going?
6/16. When you set your table saw fence,
So this might
for that
kind of be a
3/8
bit of a
mark,
boring
6
live,
sixteenths.
but I'm
this will give you a
just
clean,
working on
square
pricing
edge on
out
both
a
sides of
bid. I
every board
did
while removing
finish
those
this
rounded
bid
factory
actually
corners.
earlier, but then the customer changed the design on me, which significantly impacted it. They originally thought they wanted the design kind of like those guys. They're wanting a 20-foot wall of 4-foot planters, or 4-foot long planters. How's it going, Trevor? Only got about an hour in the shop, so I'm hustling to try to finish off a bid. That bid that I worked on earlier, they changed how they wanted it designed. I thought they wanted it made like the other planters that I made, and turns out they want solid panels on the front, so I'm rebidding it with 2x6s. So might be kind of a bit of a boring live, but I gotta pin a comment down here. Did you end up getting to see the finished planter last night, Trevor? That one in the middle is my absolute favorite. It gives me like Grateful Dead vibes almost. It's kind of cool. It's cold out here this morning. Oh yeah? Nice. That's literally what I'm doing right now. It's amazing, isn't it? Like, it's not that I can't do the math or think through it. It speeds it up immensely. I'm scrambling to figure out how I'm going to pick up that laser today. I've got to pay rent today. I've got to pay the insurance to my doctor's office, and I've got that $150 for that laser that I got to come up with. So probably going to end up going and selling a little bit of silver. And the cool part is it learns too. Like I've taught it to not give me measurements that aren't in more than a 16th of an inch increment. It just makes it a lot easier. I probably should go down to 30 seconds just to be a little more precise, but I don't like getting it'll give me like 1.4 inches or whatnot. So I cannot type this morning. Figured I'd go ahead and hop on live and see if I can add value to anybody's day. Let's see, how do I pin this? There we go. All right. So let's see. I'm making 5 of these planters for the 20-foot wall. I just figured out I need 5 2x6s to make the panels. 2 panels per. So I'm going to have a total of 10 panels. Total, I'm going to need 10 of those panels. So how much would I need?
To build 10 panels, each requiring 5 boards at 48 inches long, you will need a total of 50 individual pieces. Lumber requirements. To minimize waste and ensure you have enough material to account for the saw curve, the width of the blade, here is your shopping list based on standard 2x6 lengths. If buying 8FT 96 inches boards, you need 25 boards. Each 8FT board
You're all
exactly
good.
2 48
Thank you.
inches pieces. If buying 12FT 144 boards, you need 17 boards. Each 12FT board yields 3 48 inches pieces. 17 times 3 equals 51 pieces, leaving you.
I need 25 2x6 by 8. And then we're going to do 16 inch. I also need to make some 16 inch panels that will fit between those 48 inch panels. And they are also 22 inches. I also need to make some 16 inch panels that fit between the 48 inch panels, and they will be 22 inches tall as well. Subtract the width of the 48 inch panels to get the total 16 inches.
To keep everything consistent and ensure the edges are square, you'll want to use 4 boards for each of these 16-inch panels. If your 48-inch panels are used as the outer walls, and you want exactly 16 inches of space between them, your filler boards need to be ripped to exactly 4 inches, 4 0/16. The math: total space to fill, 16 inches. Number of boards, 4. Rip width per board, 4 0/16 inches.
No, this is also going to be a horizontal glued up panel.
Since this is a horizontal glue up, you'll be running these 16-inch boards lengthwise to create the panel. To keep your edges clean and identical to your larger panels, using 4 boards is the most efficient way to hit your mark. The dimensions, 16ths of an inch. Number of boards, 4. Length of each board, 16 0/16. Rip width per board, 5 8/16. Simplified to 5.5. Total panel height, 22 0/16. Milling strategy. Using 4 boards at 5 and 8/16 brings you to exactly 22 inches. A quick note on the edges: greater than a standard 2x6 is 5 and 8/16 wide right off the shelf. However, these boards usually have rounded, eased edges. If you want these panels to look as seamless as your 48-inch panels, you might want to rip them slightly thinner, like 5.
It should be the same 5 boards as it was on the 48-inch side. And we also need to subtract 1.5 inches for each side because the total width is 16 inches.
Since you want to stick with 5 boards to match the aesthetic of the 48-inch panels, and you need to subtract 1 and 8/16 from each side to account for your vertical panels, your math changes significantly. Subtracting 1 and 8/16 from both sides, 3 inches total, leaves you with a target width of 13 and 0/16 for the filler panel. The math: total target width, 16 inches minus 1.5 inches minus 1.5 inches equals math BF 13 and 0/16. Number of boards, 5. Rip width per board, 13 divided by 5 equals 2.6 inches. In sixteenths, 2 and 10/16. This is 2.625 inches, which is 1/40th wider than 2.6 inches. But it's the closest mark on your fence and will result in a total width of 13 and 2/16. Dimensions and shopping list for 10 panels. To get 50 pieces at 16 inches long. Piece. Quantity. Length. Width. Horizontal filler slats.
How many can I get out of one 8-foot stick? The pieces should only be 13 inches long.
Assuming you meant an 8FT stick, 96 inches, you can get 7 pieces per board. While 96/13 mathematically equals 7.38, you have to account for the saw curve, the physical thickness of the blade, which is usually about 1/8 to 16ths.
Let's see, since you need 5 boards per panel and you're making 10 panels, you'll need a total of 50 pieces. To get 50 pieces, I'll need 8 boards. So 8 and 25. Okay, can you create me a cut list for that? And I also want a price from the Loveland, Colorado Home Depot for 2x6 by 8 foot cedar. Just thinking slow. Where's my coffee?
Your PDF cut list is ready, detailed in 16ths of an inch to match your table saw setup. Local pricing, Loveland Home Depot. Based on current inventory for the Loveland, Colorado Home Depot, store number 1510 on N. Boyd Lake Avenue. Item 2 in, X6 in, by 8 feet. Western red cedar board. Price: approximately $22.48 to $24.97 per board. Project total: for the 33 boards required for this project, 25 for the large panels and 8 for the fillers.
Let's see, I took pictures yesterday while I was at Depot, and the price is a different number. Let's see here. $18.98. The boards are $18.98 a piece.
Got it. At $18.98 per board, that's a solid deal for cedar right now. Based on that updated price, here is your project total and the final breakdown for your shopping trip. Project cost breakdown. Total boards needed: 3x3, 2x, 6x, 8 feet cedar. Price per board: $18.98. Subtotal: $626.34. Estimated total with tax: 6.7% in Loveland, approximately $668.31. Consolidated cut list: 16ths of an inch. 1. Large panels, QTY 10. Slat length 48 and 0/16. Rip width 4 and 6/16. Total slats 50, yields 2 per board. Board count 25. 2 filler panels QT1.
Okay, now can you pull up the cut list for the privacy screen that we designed?
It looks like we are building the privacy screen right now. Based on our conversation, the cut list we just finalized is the one for your privacy screen project. Since you are making 10 large panels and 10 filler panels, here is the combined list for your records. Privacy screen master cut list. All dimensions are in 16ths of an inch. Item QTY. Cut length, rip width, notes. Main panel slats 50. 40.
If I can get 2x12 material for $29.98, would it be cheaper to use that?
Yes, switching to 2x12 material would be significantly cheaper. You would save roughly $176.64 on the project. Because a 2x12 is much wider, actual width of 11 and 4/16, you can get multiple slats out of a single rim, which drastically reduces the number of 8 FT boards you need to buy. In comparison, using 2x6s, 33 boards at 18.98 equals asterisk 626.34. Using 2x12,
Okay. I gotta find somewhere in here. I have screenshots of the cut list that I made earlier with AI. Let's go. How many pickets do I need to make just the trellis slats?
to make all 90 trellis slats from that list, you will need 10 cedar pickets. This calculation assumes you are using standard 6FT, 72 pickets, cutting the trellis slats to match the 22-inch height of your vertical siding. To break down your rip yield, out of one 5.5 wide picket, you can rip 3 strips at 1 and 11/16, accounting for the saw blade's curve. Crosscut yield.
I think So I've got 668.31. And then we're going to do 348 times 10. It's going to be 34. So we're going to do 702. We're at 702. 31. And then I'm going to need some 2x4s for the legs. I'll cut those into 2x2s. So that's going to run me another, let's see, 22 inches or 24 inches times 4. So out of 1, I should be able to get, and since I'm ripping them down the 2x2s, I should be able to get a good 4 out of it. All right, we're going to